Before I start this video, I just want to apologise if you hear any background noise. My mum has some people over who are going to play a string quartet together and they're all talking and being loud, and you might hear some music that they're playing later, so sorry in advance, but I really need to film this video so it goes up this week. So this is one of the few chances I'm going to get basically, so I need to do it now. Hello everyone, it's Meg or welcome to a new video. Today's video I'm going to be going through all of the books on my physical TBR, and I've seen people do these videos before. It's very fun, and I have done one of these quite a few years ago, which you can find somewhere on my channel, but I just thought I would do a more updated one. And I have counted the books because I feel like I had quite a lot, but I have 41 unread books on my physical TBR, which I don't think is that bad. It could be worse. However, I am currently on a book buying ban, not doing the best so far, but I do want to be on a book buying ban so then I can get these down, because my TBR cart is basically full and I've had to pull all of these basically off my TBR cart. So yeah, I would just want to go through them all. We can chat about them, see what I haven't read and what I definitely need to read. So make sure you grab your beverage of choice and maybe a snack. Let's get comfy because I feel like this is just like a super chill video, you know? So yeah, grab your snack or beverage of choice and let's talk about all the books that are currently on my physical TBR. I don't think I'm going to go in any particular order because they are just laid in several piles out in front of me on my bed. So we're going to start with the one that's closest to me, which is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This book went down a storm when it first came out. It came out quite a few years ago, I think now, and I heard nothing but good things about it. It is quite like a dark and heavy book in terms of the theme, but it is one I've always wanted to read, and I got this in a charity shop and I still haven't read it. I've had it for a couple of years now and I think I'm just waiting for the time where I feel mentally ready to read it, and I apparently have not been mentally ready to read it. So it is still on my shelf, but I would like to get to it. Maybe I can find the audiobook for it or something like that, but I have heard really great things about it, so I would like to give it a go at some point, especially because the topic is quite like an important topic and one that I would like to educate myself on more. Next up we have The Lifeline by Libby Page. This is the sequel to The Lido, which is Libby's debut novel, and I love The Lido. And I got this not last year, I think maybe the year before, and I still haven't read it. I feel like I need to do like a refresher on The Lido. If I don't reread it, then I need to at least read like a summary or something. But this follows our main character, I believe, and she's like left London and she's starting a family. And I'm assuming swimming or like in community is like something that is a part of this book. I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. However, I am intrigued and I'm looking forward to it because I think I will definitely enjoy it when I eventually get to it. Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. This is one that I have wanted to get my hands on for ages, and again, it's a charity shop find. We love that. I don't know much about this. I have heard good things about this book and about Meg Mason generally. I think it's about this woman who people think she's got everything, but actually she's struggling, and I feel like maybe mental health comes into it somewhere. I'm not really sure, but I feel like this is more like an autumnal kind of read. And again, I've had this for maybe at least a year or something like that. It is one I want to get to soon though, because again, I am very intrigued. A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Barnard. Barnard? This book was like such a like key YA staple a good few years back, and I, again, charity shop find, love that. I finally got my hands on it and I have had it for quite a few years and I still haven't read it. This is about mental health, I believe. It's about anxiety. I don't know much more than that, and I believe our main character is like a mute, like a person who has anxiety, and she is mute as well. I don't really know any more than that, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to this. This is one of those few books where like I have on my TBR, I've had for ages. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to get to it. But we will see. Maybe I just need to like, you know, knuckle down at some point and finally read it, because like I said, it is a YA, so I feel like it wouldn't take that long to read, and I might actually really enjoy it, you know, who knows. Little Women, a retelling by Laura Wood. This is a retelling, like I said, of Little Women, but this is a dyslexic friendly version. hence why it is so short. And I got the Pride and Prejudice version of this like little classic series to review a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. So when I found Little Women was coming out, I pre-ordered myself a copy, and also since it's by Laura, I know that she's going to do an excellent job. Like I said, I really enjoyed the Pride and Prejudice one, and obviously, like I said, it's more dyslexic friendly, it's more condensed, but it will still have the essence of like the original story, and obviously the text is a bit bigger as well. So yeah, this is one I definitely want to get to. Again, I might save this for like autumn winter because Little Women kind of reminds me of that time of year. Open Water by celeb Azuma Nelson. I have actually started this. I started this maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, 2 years ago. I got up to chapter 7, which is page 31, and never got any further. I do really want to read this because I've heard good things, and this author also has a second book that came out maybe like last year or something like that. I think this is written in second person, which I think was taking a bit of getting used to, and I think I was also in a reading slump when I started to read this. But I love the concept of this. It's about like two artists, like a dancer and a photographer, and that just sold me, and it's kind of like a romance between them, I believe. But yeah, I've heard really good things about this, so, and also it's very short, so I definitely want to try and get to this at some point. Assembly by Natasha Brown. I got this in my advent calendar for Rarebuds books 2 years ago, and I did start to read it just to get an idea, and I must admit I wasn't a fan. I don't think I like the writing very much. I got up to page like 20-21. It's also kind of written in an interesting format. It's got like lots of short chapters, and it's kind of about this woman who's married to this wealthy man, and there's a dinner party, and I think this book takes place during this dinner party, and there's lots of commentary in it. Can't remember much more than that, but I do want to give it another go and see what I think, because I might have been in the wrong frame of mind when I first picked it up. But yeah, I just remember I wasn't vibing with the writing, but I will have to give it another go and see what I think. The final revival of Opal and Nev by Dorwin Walton. Hopefully I'm saying her first name right. But again, this is a book I've heard nothing but good things about, and it's kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, which also appeals to me. And again, I got this in my book advent calendar a couple of years ago. I still haven't read it. I've been quite useless at reading the books from that year, really, but I definitely, need to get on it. This is told in interview format, from what I can gather, and like I said, it's about a band, and I believe it's kind of a similar thing of like, they were meant to be big, and then they broke up, and then it's an interview years later, kind of getting to the bottom of what happened. I think that's kind of the vibe, so it's very much like Daisy Jones-esque in terms of like the plot. So I am really intrigued, and I think I will really enjoy this as well. Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Again, this is like an OG booktube book, and I've been wanting to read it for ages. I've heard nothing but good things, and then yes, I found it in a charity shop. So last year actually, so I would really like to read it. I don't know much about it. I know it's a romance between these two characters, and I believe our main character Chloe has chronic illness, which will be really interesting to read about, because I don't think I've ever read a book about a main character who has chronic illness, so that'll be really interesting. Really excited about that. But yeah, like I said, it just seems like such a fun series, and I've never got around to picking these books up, so hopefully I will get to this one at some point and see what I think. How Should a Person Be by Sheila Hetty. I got this last year in Edinburgh, and I was really intrigued. I heard nothing about this book at all. I really wanted to try and pick up a couple of books that I, like I said, didn't know anything about or hadn't heard anybody talk about. And this sounds really interesting. It's about a woman in her 20s, and she's married, and she suddenly decides she doesn't want the life that she has anymore, so she kind of takes off on her own adventure, and it is about art as well. I believe she's a playwright, so there's a little bit of multimedia format in this as well. And then there's these other artists, and I think it's just a whole journey, like a self-discovery journey, and it just sounds so fun. It has themes in it that are right up my street. So yeah, this is one of the books I think on the 10 books I want to read in 2025 list. So yeah, this is one I definitely want to get to soon, maybe kind of like in the summer or into autumn, depending on how well my reading goes. The Story of Art Without Men by Katie Hessel. I've had my eye on this book for ages, ever since it first came out in hardback, and the paperback came out last year, so I decided to get it. It's very hefty, I would like to say, but I feel this is going to be more of like a coffee table book. I don't know if I'll ever read the whole thing, like in one go or whatever, because there is a lot in here, but this book suggests what it says in the title. It's the story of art without men. It's about all the women who may not have been mentioned, like more on the mainstream scale about art. And I've read maybe one little bit, but it has like pictures and stuff like that, and obviously about people's art throughout the ages. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. I love obviously feminist like fiction, non-fiction, and I love learning about women in art as well. It's something I really enjoy. So I'm really excited to delve into this more. The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is a book that I kind of seen around for a while, and again I got this in my advent calendar like this past Christmas, and it just seemed interesting because I wasn't vibing with many of the prompts from my advent calendar that I had at Christmas, so I decided to pick this one up because it did sound intriguing, and I know that a lot of people have quite enjoyed this, so I'm really intrigued. I don't know much about what it's about. I think it's about like two friends, and it's kind of like a coming of age story. I'm not really sure, but it should be a fun time. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this though. This isn't like a high priority book, but obviously I will try to get to it at some point. My Name is Umami by Jessica George. Again, this is a book I got from my advent calendar, and this just seems like a really fun book. It kind of gives me Queenie vibes to a certain extent, but I don't know, I guess we'll see when I read it. But I remember I was listening to somebody talk about this book fairly recently. It might have been Kat. Yeah, it might have been Kat who was talking about this book because she read it and she said how amazing it was and how much she loved it, which definitely bumps it up on my TBR a bit. I think I definitely want to try and read this during summer, plainly for the fact that the cover is like bright yellow. It definitely fits the vibes. So hopefully kind of like the inside and the contents will fit that vibe as well. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to read this, and I really hope I love it. Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This is going to be my first ever Ali Hazelwood book. I have obviously heard of Ali, but her stories have just never attracted my attention. And I'm not really a romance kind of person. I like romance, but more as a side plot instead of the main plot. However, for the factor that our two main characters are like competitive swimmers, was a vibe, and that made me feel like it's the perfect summer book. Especially after watching the anime Free last year, this has definitely encouraged me to want to pick it up because the anime is about swimmers. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. I really hope I like it. Like I said, I've heard loads of good things about Ali Hazelwood books, and I'm definitely, like I said, going to read this during summer, maybe during like June, July kind of period especially. So yeah, I am really looking forward to this book, and it's one, like I said, that I'm definitely going to pick up within the next couple of months. Mongrel by Hanako Futman. This is a book I have had my eye on for a while, and I was waiting for the paperback to come out, which came out in February, so I grabbed myself a copy, and I have heard really good things about this book. I think it's like a multiple perspective book. I think it follows out three main characters, and they're each from different parts of the world, and I'm assuming they somehow interconnect. I don't actually know much about this book. I just know that I want to read it. And again, this is a book that I am definitely going to read soon, maybe within like the next like few months or so, depending on how my reading plans go. But I am, like I said, really, really excited to read this book. This is one of the top books on my like physical TBR that I want to read, because, like I said, I've heard really good things about it, and I like to think that I will really enjoy it as well. Right, we're on to the slightly more random pile now. So the first one is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I have been wanting to read a Virginia Woolf book forever, and I do actually have another one somewhere. It's in that pile over there. I have another book by her that I have, But I got this on the bookshelf that we have at work. It's a very old copy. It's got a few annotations in it, which is really fun. I haven't actually read them properly yet, but look, there's like annotations and stuff, which is so fun. I feel like I did read the first few pages of this not so long ago, and I was a little bit confused by the writing, but I want to give it another go, like I said, because I would really love Virginia Woolf. I feel like I've just heard phenomenal things about her books, and I really want to be one of the people who raves about them as well. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is probably the only Bronte book that I am interested in reading. I don't know why I'm just not interested in any of the other stories, but I am intrigued by this one. I don't know much of what it's about, to be honest with you, but I want to give it a go and see what I think. The Secret and the Power. These books I have wanted to get my hands on for years, and again, I got them in a charity shop. Now I have them though, I don't actually know when I'm going to read them. I'm really interested in the whole manifestation kind of thing. It's something that I do believe in, and I do try and practice to a certain extent, but I've just never got round to it. And obviously these are the key books, kind of, or the core books to manifestation or all that sort of thing. And I have watched the documentary about this, so I don't know. I might read them at some point, or maybe find the audiobooks for them and see what I think. But I don't want to get rid of them quite yet. I want to keep hold of them for a little bit longer, and see whether I get to them or not. Gloriography by Jessica Rue. This is probably one of the most recent books that I have on my TBR, and I only got this the other week actually, which was breaking my book buying ban. But I got this from a bookshop in Pickering in Yorkshire, really stunning bookshop by the way, and this is a dictionary of the Victorian language of flowers, and I love the language of flowers. I've read a couple of fiction books that have that theme in it, really love it, and it just has beautiful illustrations all throughout it. So yeah, I have read some of this already actually, and I find it really interesting. So yeah, it's just really nice to have my own little dictionary of flowers. So I'm very happy that I broke my book buying ban to buy this book. Let's move on to the few of the manga and graphic novels that I have on my TBR. So I have Nimona by N.D. Stevenson. I was meant to read this for a little 24-hour readathon I did last year, and I never ended up doing it. But again, I got this from the bookshelf that we have at work, second-hand bookshelf. And I have seen loads of good things about this, and it's been made into a film. I feel like it's not immediately the first thing that I would jump for in my personal taste, but I want to give it a go and see what I think. Then I have 3 manga. So I have Sign of Affection Volume 1. I watched the anime for this last year. I've watched the anime for all of the manga that I'm going to talk about. And it was really cute, it was really fun. Our main character is deaf, so obviously she communicates through sign language, and it was really cute, very wholesome, and I obviously want to read the manga. Skip and Loafer Volume 1. This is one of my favourite animes of all time. It was so refreshing in terms of the main character. So obviously I want to read all of the manga, and I just love this, like I said, really refreshing character. I love the friendships, it's very cute, fun, slice of life story. Cherry Magic Volume 4, I started reading this unintentionally last month, and it's so cute. I really love the anime, it's very wholesome, very sweet, so I can't wait to read the manga, especially because not all of the manga has been made into an anime, so I'm really intrigued to kind of see all the bits that they've missed, and also the bits that haven't been included in the anime because of the storyline. Pemberley, the sequel to Pride and Prejudice by Emma Tennant. I've had this on my TBR for a while. I did want to read it in time to do my Pride and Prejudice retelling video, but I never ended up doing that. This is a very short book. I think I found this in charity shop somewhere. But this, like I said, is meant to be a prequel, and I believe my mum did read this, and I think she enjoyed it, but she found it slightly unbelievable. But I still want to give it a go, and I haven't read a Pride and Prejudice retelling in a long time. So I have been thinking about this book recently, so I might have to pick it up and see what I think. Time for some poetry. You guys should know I love my poetry, so I have got quite a few books here. I must admit a lot of them I'm not very interested in at the moment, but I am interested in this one, which is The Tradition by Jericho Brown. I think I did start to read this. Oh yeah, I did start to read this, and for some reason I stopped. So I will have to carry on. I know practically nothing about what any of these poetry collections are about, but I do remember starting to read this and I really like the writing style, so I will have to pick this book up again. How the Hell Are You by Glyn Maxwell. The next couple of first poetry books like these four are just ones that I got gifted randomly by somebody. Again, I have no idea what this is about. I haven't even read a single poem. I have had these like 4 poetry books on my TBR for quite a few years now. I think maybe like at least 4. So I do need to give them a go and see what I think. Otherwise, move them on to somebody else because they can't sit gathering dust on my shelf forever. Rendang by Will Harris. Again, I have no idea what this is about. I don't think I have even read a single poem out of this. So yeah, like I said, we'll have to give it a go at some point. Hopefully I will actually get to it. And then the last out of like these 4 random poetry collections that I was just gifted is How to Wash a Heart by, am I going to butcher this? Anu Kapil. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. I'm so bad at pronouncing. But yeah, like I said, this is the last one, and again, I haven't read anything from this. I haven't even looked at what it's about, I don't think. But yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll get to it sometime. Then I have Ariel by Sylvia Plath. This is probably, if this is our only collection, no, it's not her only collection of poetry. I lie, I don't think it is. This is probably one of her most well-known collections. And I did start reading it, and I don't think I was vibing with it, which made me really sad because I really want to like Sylvia Plath's poetry. Maybe it might just be this particular collection. I'm going to have to give it another go, but I do really want to like her poetry because I don't know, I feel like I would vibe with it. I need to try again, and hopefully I will like it this time around. Then I just have this random poetry pamphlet. My mum got it for me the other year when she went out for the day somewhere, and it was like for sale. It is, I don't even know, Within and Without a poetry zine. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's just like a little like poetry zine with a couple of poems in it. Yeah, so I will, have to, try and get to it because it is, like I said, so short. Dreamwork by Mary Oliver. Again, this is a more recent purchase, and I saw it in a bookshop, I think in Chelsea, when I was in London last month. It had to come home with me. Anything Mary Oliver has to come home with me. She is like probably my favourite poet. I love her so much. I love her writing. And I saw Leah reading this book and she said how much she loved it. So I obviously had to pick it up, and I really love the cover as well. I don't know, there's just something about it that's giving the vibes. But I'm currently reading Devotions by Mary Oliver, which is quite a thick collection of her poetry, so I need to get through that first, but this will definitely be like the next Mary Oliver book I pick up once I have finished Devotions. And then we have some more recent poetry books, and I got these 2 in a vlog, which I'll try and remember to link down in the description. I went shopping for some new poetry books, and I also got a few other books as well. This was back in a couple of months ago, so I will leave that book shopping video with me in the description. But 2 of the poetry books that I got that I haven't read yet is Night Sky Without Exit Wounds by Ocean Vuong. I've heard nothing but good things about this author and this poet, and I finally decided to pick one of his collections up. I believe this is his debut collection, and I have read maybe like the first poem or 2, and I have really enjoyed it, so I'm really excited to dive in. And then the last poetry collection is Plum by Holly McNeish, and I have been meaning to read this book for literally about 10 years. I'm not even joking. Ever since it first came out, I've wanted to read it. I've just never bought it for whatever reason, and I have finally bit the bullet. and I bought it. And I'm really excited because I really like Holly as a person. I follow her on Instagram, I think she's ace. And I do have one of her other books, which is like a prose and poetry, which I will talk about next. But I haven't got like a sole pure poetry collection by her, so I don't know really of what this is about, to be honest with you. I just know I want to read it, and I feel like I will really enjoy it. We're on the last pile, guys. We're nearly there. Lobster by Holly McNeish is the other Holly book that I have, and I have actually started reading this. I'm nearly halfway through, and this is kind of a mix of poetry and prose, like I said before. And this is her second book like this. She also has one called Slug, which I have not read. But this, it's just, I really had a fun time reading it. I'll very quickly read the blurb on the back of this book because I know I've been filming for a while, but I feel like it sums this book up perfectly, and it might intrigue you guys if you want to read this. But the blurb says, as people we are capable of both love and hate, amazement and disgust, fun and misery. So why do we live in a world that is constantly nudging us to hate both ourselves and others? In this brand new collection, Holly McNeish brings her inimitable, I can never say that word, blend of poetry and prose to question all the warped and wily ways we have been taught to hate, and if we might learn to love again. If that does not make you want to read this book, I do not know what does. But I've really been enjoying this. I have been like tabbing and annotating it a little bit as I go. But again, this is one of the books on my that I'm going to read this year, my 10 books that I'm going to read in 2025. So again, I was enjoying my time. I just put it down to prioritise other books. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back into this. Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Again, this has been a book I've wanted to read for so long. I have watched the film and I did really enjoy the film. So I do want to read the book. I've heard mixed things about it, and it has been on my TBR for quite a few years. I don't know if I'm going to get to it really. This is one of the not sure how much longer I'm going to hold on to it kind of book. Unless if I find the audiobook or something, I might like it that way. We shall see. Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. Again, I got this for Christmas. This is probably the next book I'm going to read after what I'm currently reading now. And I've heard nothing but good things about this book. And I love, like I have said previously in this video, learning about feminism, reading about feminism, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. And like I said, this has been at the top of my feminist non-fiction radar. So I'm really excited to get to this. And like I said, I will get to it after my current read. Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edu Lodge. This is a book that, again, blew up a couple of years ago, and I have had it for a few years, and I did start to read it on my phone through an ebook. But I never got any further because I don't really like reading on my phone. So I got the physical copy. I haven't read it yet. But again, this is one that I really want to get to. I feel like it would be really insightful and informative, and obviously it's about a very important topic. And I know loads of people have really loved this book as well, and I have enjoyed what I have read of it so far. The Waves by Virginia Woolf. This is my second Virginia Woolf book. I don't know much about it. It's just the little, there's a little thing on the back here that says, "There was a star riding through clouds one night, and I said to the star, 'Consume me.'" I read that on the back of this book and I was like, I need that book in my life. From what I gather, this is quite an abstract and experimental kind of novel. I'm quite intrigued by it, to be honest with you. And yeah, like I said, I do really want to love Virginia Woolf. So I don't know if I'll read this or Mrs. Dalloway first. Kind of tempted by this one a little bit more, but like I said, we shall see. Hands by Lauren Brown. I got this purely off M's recommendation. I think she got an arc of this just before it came out, obviously because it's an arc. But she said she really loved it, and this is about anxiety. And I, as somebody who has anxiety, it is nice to read about people who have similar experiences. So I don't really know much about it. I think it's just about her experience with anxiety and how she, she dealt with it. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. Like I said, I have had this for a few years, but with all of these books, I do need to get to it. But yeah, maybe it is something that I need to prioritise because I think I will really enjoy it. And then we're on to the last book, finally, which is Dear Dolly, on Love, Life and Friendship by Dolly Alderton. I've never read a book by Dolly before. I know her like first book because this is the sequel to Everything I Know About Love. I did pick this up on a bit of a whim at TK Maxx. I don't actually know if I'm ever going to get to it, you know, because I never read her first book because I don't relate to all the parts of it, so I was like, there's no point in me reading it, even though I'm sure I would get quite a lot out of it. So I don't know, it might be the same with this, to be honest with you, but we'll see. But I know so many people love Dolly and her books, so I feel like I need to give one of her books a go. It might be this one, or hopefully it will be since it's the one that physically that I have in my hands. But yeah, like I said, we will see. And I have heard, yeah, lots and lots of good things about the first book in this series, and this one, from what I gather, I think this is literally, because I think Dolly used to have a column in a newspaper and she used to do like agony aunt questions. So I think this is literally what this book is about. It's just about some of the articles that she wrote when she had that column. I might get to it, I might not. We shall see with many of these books. But like I said, I do want to give a Dolly book a go at the moment, at some point, because I feel like I need to give her a chance, you know, and just see what I think. Throw caution to the wind. So those are all of the books that are on my physical TBR. I feel like I didn't take too long, hopefully, to get through this. And I had a really fun time reading, like kind of going through all these books and chatting to you guys about them. It's just like a fun, like casual, chatty, like bookish video. They're my favourites to film, you know, because I can blab on, hopefully not for too long. And it's also interesting to kind of like look at and reflect on kind of all the books and think about like which ones I want to prioritise and ones that I maybe might not read anymore, that I might have to kind of move on to a new home. Let me know in the comments which books you think I should read first. Like I have said throughout this video, there are some that are definitely more of a priority than others, but if you have any personal recommendations out of all this list, like which ones are your favourites and you think I should read first, please let me know, because it might help me gather my summer TBR together, because believe it or not, even though it's like middle of April, I do have to start thinking about my summer TBR because it will take me long enough to actually think about the books that I want to read. If you got to the end of this video, because I did this in my bookshelf tour video and some of you actually replied to it, which was really nice. If you got to the end of this video, comment the open book emoji. I would have done a book stack, but I did that for my last video that I did this, so comment a open book emoji. It was really fun when some of you guys did comment that, so if you don't know what to comment, comment an open book emoji in the comments down below. That would be wonderful. I don't know why, that's just, it's such a fun thing. It is very weirdly pleasing. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I will leave the links to my social media and my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys if you would like to see more bookish content that you would not find on this channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye guys!